What's good, people? What's good? Hope you guys have had a great start to your week. Hope you're having a blessed week. It's good to be back. Again, just let me know if the music is too loud compared to my voice or just loud in general. It always helps just to make sure I'm not competing with the music. Doesn't be the case. We'll kind of get into today a little bit of what we'll be looking for. Again, if the volume or anything is messing up, you can just let me know, just so I can try to fix it if that is if it's possible. You know, if it's something I can't control, then I'll let you know. But hopefully we don't have that situation again today. So here's our time frame. This was the weekly mean threshold that I was looking for this week to hit. Actually, on Monday I had noted this out and we hit there. I wish we would have saved it and before hitting it, but it doesn't matter. We shaded down into it and look at the response we kind of got down here. We did have this daily fair value gap, which was created after yesterday's price action. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. It's all good. Thank you very much. We have this daily fair value gap, which would be called the SIBI. Since it's a down closed candle, it's a darker blue candle. Since it's a down closed candle, it's called a SIBI. If we were to reverse it, then it would be called the BISI. But that's just something, just in case you hear me say some certain words or verbiage, that's what that means. So we have created a swing low down here. We did have CPI drive us up into this area here that overlaps with this daily volume imbalance, and so far the bodies have actually closed on the lower portion. So we'll see if we can potentially get some weakness. We'll see if that's the case and draw down a little bit lower and potentially see if we can take this low out. We'll see that. We'll remain with the heaviness even though we hit this discount array on the weekly time frame. We'll see if we can have that remain heavy and see if we can trade a little bit lower. I do see we have this respect of this 1 hour fair value gap you see down here with this order block. Look how the bodies are being held inside of this gap and we trade up higher into this level. We fell short yesterday but then hit it today. So we'll see kind of what we're getting. Right now we're also back inside of, that's the wrong one. I can actually close this. I don't need this one open. So if we look at this, this is the closing price from yesterday. I'm just gonna put this line there and I'll make it black just for this example so you can kind of see. If I put on regular trading hours, oh, we're a little bit higher. Okay, that's good. So on my other screen it looks like because that's where we closed yesterday. So we don't necessarily have a problem with getting in or trading before 10 o'clock because this is 200. It had to come like pretty much all the way down. That's fine right here for me to have to wait at 9:30. This is where it'd have to be trading at. So in order for me to have to wait until 10 o'clock to get in. So right now we're good. We don't have anything in terms of a reason to wait for anything in terms of like potential choppiness. Like we're not expecting that because the opening range gap is large enough so we can expect a lot of movement today. Also yesterday we're kind of held in this range. Let me put it back to this so you can kind of see. Yesterday I had a nice trade setup. I mean I got stopped out prematurely but was looking for this low to get taken out and it did. But got stopped out up in here pretty much near my entry. But look how we pretty much traded sideways the whole day. So I'm expecting a lot of expansion today, but I would like to see if we can kind of trade to the downside. But we'll see what we're getting around 9:30. That's what my expectation would be. Since this is fairly close, I'll hide that and put the low pretty much here because it's all the way up there. So I don't want to have too much overlapping where it's very confusing and you can't really see much. For me, that's how I'm going to use it. Again, this is the X-ray view. So this is my MNQ chart and this is the ES chart. I like to try to have them around the same, just so I can see if there's any difference. Like if you see here, I'll just note this very quickly. We have some time. Notice this high takes it out there, looking for the equivalent high which is right there. And notice how it's down there. So that's what we call SMT, or Smart Money Tool, Smart Money Technique, however they want to call it. That's what it is. So I look for that as well in my trades. Now on the downside, and yesterday why I was looking for a short, I'm not going to go into my trade and all that stuff, but we had SMT here. See how this high ran above this one, and this one was unable to do so. So that was, no, it was before that, I'm sorry. This right here. So this high to this high, that high is higher, this same equivalent high is lower. So that's where I took my first short, because I saw that and was looking for this to this low to get taken out and see if we could actually trade down there. But we had SMT that did not get down there. You see that did. So we do have a little bit of SMT in terms of to the upside, but we'll see what we end up getting here. You know, it could show. I am looking for a little bit of weakness. These lows right here look very, very clean, and then you have this down here, but we'll see what we end up getting. You know, we are right now getting the respect on the hourly chart right here with this gap here that was specifically outlined, and then we have this daily imbalance, so everything is kind of overlapping here on a higher time frame. But we'll see what we get. I would like to see a little bit of lower prices, but that's something that we'll have to evaluate and kind of see what's going on the higher time frames. Now we have this 15-minute gap right here that overlaps with this hourly order block, so we're going to use that as a level of that we could believe to see some type of reaction from bullishly, if that's the case. So right now what I'm trying to do is look and see what's being respected. I do want to go to the hourly chart because this is the key level that overlaps with the daily volume imbalance. So we're going to make this a daily fair value gap. So we're going to make this a little bit darker. That's fine right there. Because this is the level that you see on the daily time frame. So we're going to look to see that. Now what's going to be very important is, do we create a gap? Go back to the 15-minute chart. Look how the 15-minute bodies are also kind of closing below. So that's very interesting. And then we have the sell side right here first. The sell side here. And then buy side would be above here, and then obviously up here. Now, what I did notice, you can't see it. I guess I'll put it up. If you look at the new week opening gap, this chart. Oh, I guess a discount. So this is the new week opening gap from this week. What I'm wondering is if we're getting a, well, this would be a Monday low of the week, but it would be Tuesday low of the week for ES. But I wonder if we're gonna try to trade up and clean some of this up. If it just rolls down from here, then that's just weakness. Also, if we take this range, you can even take this high to this low, we've now officially come back up into a premium of this range here. So, excuse me. So we could look for lower prices here and attack these lows, this one and this one. So just wanted to note that out as well. So this seems to be on a 1-minute chart, just so we can have this ready for when it's time to do that. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking at right now. Just respect of this, just know where things are. Remember, this is the hourly order block. Let's go back here, I guess. Notice how this is the hourly order block, this down close candle. So we'll see what we get there. Do we create a gap? Do we just run right through it? Do we inverse this? A lot of things that we're looking for. Again, I'm mostly looking for the downside to see if that is the case with just running it back up into a premium. But we'll see what's being respected pretty much at the time of 9:30. That's what I'm looking for. Again, notice how we have the bodies even on the 5-minute charts being respected here. Just have to make sure. Again, I always want to see the two in alignment with each other. Last week, that was the problem with my trades, is that they weren't aligned with each other, and I wasn't waiting for them to show clear evidence that they're starting to move together. So that's a must in your trades. You want to see that. Oops, let's fix this chart because that looks awful. Okay, so I think this should be a good enough view of the 15-minute chart. This is the 5-minute chart. This is my entry chart, the 1-minute chart. So essentially what I'm looking for and what I'm basing it on. Again, why I wait till 9:30 anyways, it's because I want this to get all flushed out, right? I don't want to be in here before the opening, right? Because it can run against a lot of things, right? Let's say I was here. Let's say I caught this, right? I'm like, okay, traded back down to a gap. This is a 5-minute gap as well. We have it here, and then, you know, it trades up above, right? But then now look where we are right now. This is not I wouldn't feel comfortable with it right here before the news driver. Like, it could come down a little bit deeper. It could just completely erase this. So for me, that's just not the things that I'm actually looking for in my trades. That's not them. So in terms of clustering, we do have new day opening gaps below us, and that would actually overlap. Today's new day opening gap would overlap with this sell side pretty much right here. So this right here, today's gap, would overlap. So I like that as well. In terms of a downside, this is a premium gap, which means it's above price. So when anything is below price, it's a discount gap. I explained that earlier in a stream before, which one I don't remember. But if you ever hear me say premium or discount, premium means that price is below it and it comes up to it, that's a premium. If it's up here and comes down to it, that's a discount. So ideally, we'd want to see this 15-minute gap get ran through. If we actually look on ES, we do not have a 15-minute gap here. Let's scroll down to that. Look how on ES, there's no gap. It's just this order block. So, and ES is showing a lot more weakness right now than ES and than NQ is, because even remember the highs I had noted in the beginning, they're not equal. This is a little bit higher. It ran up a little bit. So yeah, and also this to me looks very clean. This is what they call in the books, or what ICT calls it, a trendline phantom, where you have in the book it just looks like a perfect trend line and everything is bouncing off, so people draw this and it just gets ran through. So that's what I'm actually looking for today. By my side, I know that you'll forever be. Alright, cool. So everything's in place. We have about 6 minutes before the market opens today. So yeah, just kind of relaxing. Chillaxing. It's weird. I don't know why this does it on the funded accounts, where it doesn't even show your trade. Because I took a trade here on this candle at 10:13. And I was looking for a short down here. I got stopped out at 10:19. This candle right here. My stop loss was there, and I ended up moving it above this order block right here, and it came up and tagged it. It pretty much went lower. But it doesn't even show I took a trade here. I'm not exactly sure why it does that. Yeah, I have no idea. But because I remember before I tried to show a trade I took, and it just wasn't even there. Don't know why. So if we are going to end up going lower today, we're probably going to have to be a lot more patient on NQ, because it's showing a lot more strength than ES is. ES is showing a little bit more weakness. I don't trade ES at all. I'm not going to switch to it and try to do that. I just only trade NQ. I'm okay with waiting a little bit longer, or if it doesn't happen or doesn't show, it is what it is. But that's something that I'm trying to, you know, just focus on one thing. I don't need to be trading too many things. When I used to do that before, I'd be like, oh wait, the trade is in ES, so then I would go to ES, and then I'd be on this one, not focusing on NQ, and then it wouldn't show up on this one, and then it would show up on the one I was looking at. So like, I just had to stop doing that. You know, it doesn't necessarily really help me that much trying to look at it and doing it that way. Also, what would be interesting is if we create a gap, right? If we create a gap, what's going on this chart right here? Create a gap on the hourly chart here above this. It'd be interesting to see if then we'll start to attack this new week opening gap, which is this right here. That's what that is with this order block. So if we were to do that, we'd have to wait till 10 o'clock to see that happen, because this candle has to close. But we'll see what we end up getting. Again, looking for bearishness just because of what we have on the daily chart. Trading up into a daily fair value gap. So I'd like to see if we can have some softness there. Or if we don't, we're going to run through that. And then I will expect to see it. If you run above it and through it, then I expect this to be support, and then for us to trade up, back up into here at least. That's what I would expect if this doesn't hold. Yep, so about 3 minutes. Everything is good. I just want to make sure, yeah, all my computer stuff is good. All right, cool. Yep. All right, bet. So we're chilling here. Usually my threshold is 8. Usually I do 8. I'm going to stick with 6 today until I can kind of, you know, make back some of the loss. Then I'll go back up to the losses that I have occurred. I'll go back up to 8 then. But for right now, it'll stay at 6 for today. But yeah, I just have to remember, you know, as I did on the other one, just to make sure I actually, even if I'm going to manually enter, I have to make sure I do this so I know, one, how much I'm risking, but then I also have like the stops in place, and then I can move them, right? Because remember a couple times where I sold automatically, even if I'm going to market order in, you see if I do, where do they go? Oh, they don't even do it there. So yeah, it'd have to be a limit, right? So I know how much it is. So that's what's going to be. And I also don't want to mess up like I did before, where like I'm trying to put a stop loss up here and I actually buy more. So that's not something I'm trying to do. Not today. Not today. So we have that. Just make sure we're looking at this. New day opening gap below. New week opening gap is roughly up, is at 20,149 and a half. That's where it's at. So way up above there. But again, want to see lower prices today. We also have what overlaps with these lows down here, with this low right here. Well, actually it's up here, but this low right here matches with yesterday's first presented fair value gap, which ends up being this color when you see me trade. It's this yellow box that I put out. Maybe I'll just put that on there so you guys know. So FP is just first presented, and then this is just fair value gap. That might be a little bit easier, but that's what that means. So it's the first fair value gap that forms after 9:31 or after 9:30. So the earliest it can form is, so this is the 9:30 candle. So we have way more than enough range. So again, like I said earlier, we don't have to wait for anything. This is the middle. 550, 560, 750. There we go. So Again, I have this on another chart so I can see when it actually hits down there, because I've had it happen before where I wasn't really paying attention, and yeah, it was the worst thing that could happen. So we're seeing what we're gonna get here. We're gonna try to attempt to go up there one more time and fail. We have Dow going a little bit lower right here. Again, remember this is the SMT on the daily chart. You can see that there. So I do have that there, but I'm gonna kind of zoom in just a little bit so you guys can also see this as well. We know that the SMT is there, but these lows here to me look very suspect, but we'll see what we end up getting here today. It could show that it wants to go a little bit higher, and if that is the case, then we'll look for something like that, but I would like to see lower. I favor when the gap is created earlier on. That's what I favor in my trades. But lately they've been occurring, like it seems to be the most, or a lot at 9:36 is when I've been seeing a lot of them form and get created at. So a lot later and more closer to 9:40 in my opinion. But we do have some SMT here to the upside with how, is it on this one? I think it's this one. So you see how we had this low get taken out by Dow, and these two are showing the unwillingness to actually get taken out. Do have that again. Dow is not the one that I'm always looking at. I'm just looking to see are they all even going in the same direction. As long as for me these two, NQ and ES, are going in a similar direction, I'm favoring that versus whatever's going on over here. But I like to see them all move in the same direction if that's possible. That's what I like to see. Also, what we see here, we don't know if it stands. You don't have to. This will have to close. But we again have SMT right here. Like this high did not get taken out there, where this high did get taken out here. So again, we're having a little bit more SMT here. If we look at this chart, it's probably a little bit clearer. See how we had this in here, and this was not able to take it out yet. So here we created actually the first presented fair value gap at 9:31. I did notice that yesterday as well, that we had created a gap here before this one. So if I was trading ES, this gap right here would be marked out. But since I'm not trading that, it's not marked out. So again, just have to balance and weigh the options. Hold up, I have to just. Again, if this doesn't even get traded to, we close above here. Let's say we create a gap here, and then everything is starting to overlap on this area right here. Then yeah, then of course I'll just take it and look for a buy up to the new week opening gap. That would be like the change. But I was looking for lower prices today, so we'll see what we get there. Again, not in any rush to take a trade. Just chilling right now. We also have the opening range gap low for March 10th, about 19,000. So like 19,881.75. That's where it's at. So this potentially could be the first presented fair value gap at 9:33. I do like the time of that being created. I do like this. If we can get a nice close here and create a gap, and then this overlaps with the gap and a nice close here, that would be favorable in terms of the upside. But we'll see what we end up getting here. 15 seconds left. We may just overlap this and there may not be no, so nothing got created there. So no trade. Not no trade, I wasn't gonna take a trade, but no gap that has been created yet. Again, we still have SMT at the highs. Dow is going lower. Show you guys this. Dow is going lower. Still have SMT here. So this is above this high. Let's look at the wick. So we're at the upper portion of this wick, and we'll see what ends up getting created here. but I would like to see us favor the downside. That's what I'd like to see. So we did create a 5 minute, well, we haven't yet. In about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, then we'll create that if that's possible. And we'll look to see what we're getting there also on ES. How's everyone's day going? So it's 9:36 now, so we're not gonna get a gap there either. So again, it's a little bit later than I personally would like. I'm believing this is, again, just going up to a short-term premium and see if we can start taking out these lows down here. But have to be very patient for that, because right now we're not even seeing those signatures yet. So I'm not gonna guess. Again, ES is showing a lot of weakness, so I am kind of favoring that, and with the kind of EMC all kind of following suit with each other. Again, look at the bodies on the 5 minute chart. Do we hold inside this 1 hour fair value gap, or are we closing outside of it? Again, not necessarily too worried on the 5 minute chart if you close outside of it, but want to see us start to, you know, give some ground up right now. That's what I want to see. So if we start to scream away from here, this is probably the first presented fair value gap, which will be created at 9:37. So again, it's 1 minute after, but that's the time I've usually been seeing them get created, this week at least. So we had an immediate rebalance on the 5 minute chart, which is pretty much you have a candle, then you come down and you close that in, so it leaves no gap. So we currently have, these are the data highs. Let's just do this. This is usually what when you see me have like a short-term level, that's usually what you see me do, where there's buy side right there. So again, still no gap. So it's just telling me to wait right now. Again, let's look at this chart just so you can see. You haven't done anything, so not in a rush. Done nothing. Now you're up to speed. I'm telling you, when I get this, what is it even called? The Elgato thing, and I can have sound clips and sound bites in here. I'm telling you, y'all will be laughing so much, because it would be so funny. I'll get all the clips. And that's what I will ask, you know. When I get that thing, I'll ask, you know, what are some clips you like to hear, you like to see? You know, I'll try to work it in to the stream, you know. It'll be kind of funny. You know, I don't want the streams to be boring. I also don't want it to be a game show. This isn't a game show like some people online I've seen. Yeah, it's more like a show. But I do want it to be kind of fun, not necessarily entertaining. I'm not just pressing buttons out here. But yeah, I don't want it to be boring. because sometimes, especially if you're not used to watching charts just print like this, as you can see, this ain't like a enjoyable time. You can look at the chart and say that it's kind of being held right now. So just letting us know to wait. But if you're not used to watching this or seeing this, it can be boring, because it's not like, you know, in a trade and then ripping away and doing other things. It's not doing that right now. So you just have to sit here and wait. And I try not to, you know, during the trades, or if I'm not trading, I try not to not say anything, because then you guys would hear nothing. So I'm also trying to be understanding of that as well, because normally if I'm trading by myself, I don't talk. I'm not like, okay, this is doing this is doing that. I don't say anything. I just watch, and then I wait, and then when it's there, then I take the trade. But since people are watching, since you guys are watching, which I very much appreciate, I'm trying not to make it boring, you know, if I'm not doing anything. So I'm trying to be understanding of that as well. So we have SMT again between this high too. So we're getting a lot of SMT in terms of down to the downside right now. It's not necessarily confirmed with speed or movement away yet though. So what I mean, like, I want to see excitement. Sometimes you'll see me say that or hear me say that in trades. I want to see something like this. Like, this to me is exciting. That's excitement. None of this is exciting right now. It's just being held in a range, and I'm not trying to be like that. I'm not trying to be held in the range or get caught in that. So I'm going to just wait. And look at this. Higher, doesn't know what it wants to do, lower. So that's decoupling right now. This is showing nothing to weakness. This is showing strength. So again, if it is going to end up being a short, we're going to have a harder time trying to short NQ, which I understand. We're going to have to be a little bit more patient with waiting for it to give its signatures and give it away and give it all up. We're going to have to be more patient because ES is showing a lot more weakness. So I used to be like, okay, I'm just going to trade the weaker one, but then it was too much for me. So I only trade this one. But with Dow trading lower, we want to see that happening in all of them. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. Because ES, like, look at this, showed no willingness to even like come up in any part of this wick as of right now, whereas NQ did. So we'll need to see some excitement, and then again, we'll need to see some overlapping of the prices on the 5-minute, 15-minute, and 1-minute. Ideally, I really actually like what I found is like the 1-minute and 5-minute, especially if the 5-minute can create a gap, a fair value gap, and then a 1-minute gap overlaps, or let's say it's a 5-minute order block and then a 1-minute gap overlaps. That's the type of stuff I do like. So we are getting some weakness here. We have about a minute left. The 15-minute candle, I like that. So the first presented fair value gap could potentially form here in this range if it can actually even close down below that. Who knows? But again, it hasn't created yet. So oops. It's letting me know that I just have to keep being a lot more patient and just wait for it to show the signature, because this technically this is a breaker block. We are starting to run a little bit now. We are showing some weakness, so we'll see if we can hold that weakness going into I look for a trade setup pretty much, and see if we can start to attack this down here. That's what I'm looking at. I would like this better if we could have closed below this strong. With a strong close below this, I'd like it a little bit better, because that'd be an order block. And I look at a propulsion block, but we couldn't even close below that. So on a 15-minute chart, and then trading back up into all this, I'm okay with that. So this is the first presented for value gap. I do like that. I would have liked this better if it closed below this candle. So it trading up into here, that's not my trade, personally. It's just not my trade. It can do that, but that's not it for me. like that trading up into that, that's not my trade, because we didn't get what I wanted to see on the 15-minute chart. Even on the 5-minute chart, it technically would kind of overlap. That's just not it for me right now. I think it may try to go up there one more time. When I mean go up there, I think it may try to run up here one more time. Now, if it does react from here and it's a nice reaction, I'll take that one. But, you know, I wasn't confident in taking that trade right there. So we also hit the opening price from the new day opening gap here. So we hit this. Not saying it can't offer this to there, because it's way more than 50 handles. What, 150? So that's not bad, but I'm just not convinced yet right now. Again, if it would have closed down here, this below this candle right here. So let me just show you what I'm trying to say. We have this 15-minute chart, 15-minute candle here with this long wick had closed below here and then did this. I feel a lot more confident taking that trade. Lower. This right here. So we did fail to hit this. I am liking this reaction right now. So we did fail to hit this up close candle, which would be a 5-minute order block. We failed to hit that. So that's nice. We are showing weakness on ES. So for me, I do like this, but we need to close below this. And then I'll be willing to take a, like a showing strength below this, then I'll be willing to take a short. But yeah, just the fact that it didn't close below there yet, for me, I don't like that as much. And again, kind of just trading a little bit sideways, so I don't want to be caught in this either. Oops, I don't like when that's on there. So again, the wicks and the rejection block on the 15-minute chart, it's holding. It's showing what I'd want to see. But I just want to see a little bit more. I just want to be very, I don't want to make the same mistakes I was making last week, where I'm just trying to predict instead of just letting it do what it's going to do and show me what I want to see. That's different. That's what I'm looking for this week, and not trying to do the same thing. Like again, that's not my short because of what it didn't do on the 15-minute chart. But as you see, it did offer itself. This did show that. If it didn't have this large range there, then I would have looked to take it up when it traded up into this, but didn't get that one. So we are trading down into the 15-minute gap. So again, on a 5-minute chart, we'll see what we end up getting here. We have a minute closure, a minute till it closes next. So the fair to hit there, I like this here. So if we can get some overlap with here, with this, and we create a gap there, could look into that as a potential trading opportunity. I understand we're trading down into a 15-minute gap. I do understand that as well. But I think for me, with the weakness that we're seeing here, that will want to trade a little bit lower. So that's what I'm seeing here. Again, the 20-second close is going to tell me a lot. If we cannot close below, then that's letting me know that that's not the trade either. So this close here, I like it to be a little bit more stronger right now. Yeah, so for me, that's not it right now. Still nothing. Nothing there for me. It's not my trade. Because you see where this kind of closed on the 5-minute chart? That's not interesting to me. So again, we haven't taken any external range liquidity right now. It's all been internal. I mean, I guess you can say this is external, but it's inside of this range. So I don't like this because of the way this closed. Like, it barely closed below. It hit this 15-minute. Like, that's just not for me. I think we have massive SMT to the downside as well, actually. So look up here again, which kind of goes with this. Look how we have this low, it's taken out here, and this low is not taken out there. So again, there's like double we have down here and also down there. So I do see that as well, and also the reaction we kind of got from here. It's interesting, but showing weakness there. Okay, just have to be very patient. I would not have expected a day like this, to be honest, with how yesterday we had that. How we kind of were being held yesterday. This was all yesterday's price action. Looks like a heart attack. Don't want to be in those days. This to me is still showing it does want to go higher, but I don't know if it's time yet. That's what I'm more waiting for. The time element. I want to see us trade lower and take this out. That's what I want to see today. So for me, us creating a gap down below here is more significant to me. See, I would have been stopped out, what, in like 1, 2, 3 minutes? Because my stop loss would have been right there. It would not have been all the way up there. It's just not time yet. There's too many wicks. Not like clear gaps being shown. And again, creating a gap below here is more impressive and more important to me, especially on the 1 minute chart. After this, I like that. If that's the case, then that's telling me, okay, it's time to get in and we'll start targeting some of this down here. But until then, nothing. Nothing for me. See, I'm not saying that the trade I take today is even going to be a win. Obviously, I would hope for that. But I definitely did pray after last week for patience. And that's what we're getting today. So, yeah. This is not an easy day. I would have expected to kind of just already be ripping and already been moving. This is high resistance. I might start trading on the days where I'm like, I don't think I should trade that day. Because if you look at Monday, that was clean. Monday was clean. And that was the day I didn't trade. I took a paper trade, but I didn't actually physically trade. And it was clean. 100 something handles. Pretty quickly as well. But yep, this is like watching paint dry. Let me make sure, because I'm going to just look at the... I do check the Forex Factory calendar every day. Yeah, there's nothing tonight or today. To me, it looks like it was like doing something a little bit later and just like wants to... It just looks like it's holding right now. Why is it doing that? I don't know. But it does look like it's holding. I do want to see what ES looks like. So ES is already below these lows, showing weakness. So again, if we can create a gap below this low and trade back up into it, I will take a short there. And I'll look for it here and ultimately like see if we can get that. But down here would be a nice area of liquidity to take to. But we're not even getting that right now. That's a nice level there. So we create a gap. I'm all for it. Because now I believe what we're seeing. I mean, hopefully don't just run down there right away. But now I am I'm for it if it does that, but it can't just run all the way down there, and then I'm not willing to do that. So I will do an order if it can. It has to create that though. Like this needs to create a gap here. It can't just overlap. If it does that, then there's no trade for me. I'd put it there, and hopefully we can get it. And I'd look for that right there. That would need to happen. Hopefully not all before, but that's what we might get. Might have missed our opportunity. Sometimes they come and sometimes they go. Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna get this. Because at this point, like trading back all the way up there, I don't know. I'm gonna put the order there, but I don't think we're gonna get that. I think now it's probably just gonna run lower. Now if this creates a gap here, I'll take that. Before it runs down there, if it can do that, I will take that as well. How much time do we have left? 2 minutes. Yeah, so if we can do that, I will I'll take that. My stop loss would be above here. Well, we didn't create a gap there. By my side, I know they will forever be by my side. We didn't create a gap there. I will actually, I'm gonna sell this if it can come up there. I will like that if it can do that. Hopefully it can. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know, it is what it is. What time is it? 9:58. We'll see if we can get that. That's a small gap, but we'll see if that's what we're looking for here. We'll see if we can get that gap there. I think that we've done enough up there. So we'll see what we get here. And we'll see. Hopefully we didn't just get tricked out. And if we did, then oopsies. Because that's what we'll say. Oopsies. So I want to see if we can attack that sell side down there. If that's possible. Initially, that's a nice entry. Kind of went up there and has shown a willingness to go lower. That's what we would want to see in the trade, but could end up wanting to go a little bit higher, but that's not what we'd want to see. Goodness, man. This gap here, again, I do want to watch the other one. I don't like how deep that's actually trading into it, just in my opinion. I don't like that. Yeah, not a fan of that. That's a pretty deep trade. I don't like where the body also closed here. But we're gonna let it do what it's gonna do. I'm not gonna try to protect myself or do something that's not necessary. Just let it do what it's gonna do anyways. So it is 10 o'clock. We do have sell side down here. So this is a potential for us also to trade down here and take out the sell side here. What you see me do is this. I don't like the time that it's spending there. What are these lows? Those are those lows, yeah. So in terms of the time, I'd like to see if we can start to attack this and attack this down there, but with some speed. You know, the longer that we're holding this, it's not ideal, but it'll do what it's gonna do anyways. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be I mean, it's above the order block right now, but when I'm looking on the 15-minute chart, I don't like how we even just ran through this gap right here, honestly. We do have this. This is why my stop loss is above that. Like, that's why my stop loss is right here. It's above this candle, because I'm thinking that if we are going to go lower, this candle should hold price lower. That's the thought process. But the amount of time that we're spending there, it's not it's just not oh my goodness, man, this gap is so small I can't even grab this thing over. Okay, so the amount of time that we're spending here, I don't necessarily like it that much. These are the lows. This down here looks so clean to me that we should like want to go and target that. Ultimately way down here, but just have to be a little bit patient today on this one. Even if it loses, you know, I'm okay with taking this trade. I was patient. I knew what I was waiting for and looking for, and just took the trade. So that's what we want to see here. We can get it all the way down here. Again, it's just the time in the trade. I'm also trying to learn how to submit to the time in the trade, because usually it's like, you know, it's like 10-12 minutes. I'm usually like done in the trade. Again, I want to see this continue, not to just keep poking back up, because with it doing that, that's not, again, ideal for a trade setup. 58 should be 30 minutes is like the max stop out time. That's usually when my trades hit, usually when they're done around that time. So that's what we're looking for. This 9,523.75. That's obviously, yeah, that's not a good flip right there, to be honest. Not a good flip. I don't think this is gonna win at that point, just from watching that. That's a crazy flip in a second. We took the low out. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at this on the other chart. Yeah, probably gonna get stopped out on this one. Yeah, it looks like we fell short of the, yeah, that's crazy. We fell short of the consequent encroachment. Let me just show you of this. I'm gonna shot right back up here. Again, this is a very back and forth day right now. Hit the order block again. The body's here. 15-minute chart. Yeah, this isn't looking too bearish right now. Not at all. But I'm going to submit to this and just whatever happens here. You know, the 15-minute chart doesn't look as bearish right now. Neither does the 5-minute chart. Looks like it's probably going to go a little bit. Yep, so stopped out there. It's unfortunate with what happened here. You know, stopped there, went down there, and pretty much changed in a minute or in a second and flipped. So that's what we have there. I mean, I don't really know what else Could have done a little bit better on that trade. I mean, I was looking for these lows here and ultimately down here. It doesn't even look like we may not get that. It probably looks like it wants to, at this point, with that flip down there and how it flipped almost immediately. It looks like it's probably gonna be targeting up here, especially with these candle closures here on the 5-minute chart. I mean, the 5-minute chart and the 15-minute chart. So that's what it looks like now, just based off how it was holding, and that's why I was a little bit concerned when it was just holding and wasn't moving with speed at all. And we failed to hit constant encroachment of that with that flip. Yeah, so very tough day. Yeah, obviously don't want to start the week down. I think like $400 or $500 again. So that's not fun, but oops, that's not what I meant to do. It just happened. Patient, was waiting for this gap. We got it initially, had a nice reaction, and this just kind of came back up on us. So yeah, that's pretty much all we have for today. Now I know if we can come up above here tomorrow, you know, I'll be looking for us to trade up a little bit higher if that's the case. But yeah, we're going up and down right now. Like, this is a tough market. Yeah, really nothing even seeing on the upside right now, not at all. I mean, the way that the bodies were, didn't like that, and then this movement there really telling a little bit, so that didn't hold at all. Yeah, this has probably been one of the harder months for me in terms of everything, but they happen in trading. Yep, was looking for pretty much the new day opening gap to get traded to, which was down at 19,472 after coming up into a premium, but it doesn't look like we got that. I don't know if we came back up a little bit higher. There's really nothing up in here, in my opinion, for it to be coming back up into for any real reason to then go lower. You know, the only thing I see for the upside is this, but I wouldn't even, I mean, I don't know if I'd actually really even trust that. But that's the only gap that overlaps with this. And then you have this, the CPI high up here. After failing down here, I don't know if we had SMT there either. No, we didn't. So that's the wrong one. Yeah, no SMT there. This traded down into, well, it didn't trade down into the gap, but that failed to trade down into the gap. I guess the only thing we had SMT here was these lows, which I thought would have been taken out, and they just weren't. So the highs look like they're probably most likely to get taken with yeah, we have about 42 seconds left, and then oops, yeah, probably from there to there at this point with this candle here. That's what I could see. Just very, very choppy today. Yeah. Is what it is. So we close on a 5-minute chart here. We're trading back up inside the first presented for value gap. Yeah, we're definitely probably coming up here now. Because I don't know what else. I mean, I guess you could come all the way back up here and then erase lower. But like, there's nothing on this time frame that makes sense to me right now in terms of like why it would be back up here to then take this low out. But I guess everything and all we had was, I guess, maybe pointing to the upside just with this. So we had this, but then we also have this down there, this up there. This is stronger. This went just lower below all of it. But yeah, just, I don't know. March has just not been my month. Again, just looking at the 15-minute chart, it just, I don't know. It just looks like we're in like some, we only took external range on ES, but we took no external on NQ. Yeah, I don't think that's a buy. I see it there, but I still don't think that's a buy. Look, we just went right through it. So this is an inverse gap. It's an inverse fair value gap right there. I don't see it as a buy, not at all. I'll stay until like, I don't know, 10:30 or so. I actually just want to watch this. So we trade up into that inverse fair value gap, also with that higher time frame gap. So we'll see if we get a reaction here lower. I'm still leaning lower, just the way ES looks. I just don't think that this is going higher right now. I see this on the 5-minute chart and on the 15-minute chart as well. But we hit like a daily fair value gap, also with an hourly fair value gap. Like my eyes were looking down here. But again, I wouldn't take necessarily this short either, because it's not overlapping with this. So I wouldn't take this short either. This one's viable though. If we can hold it and actually create a fair value gap without running too far away. That's what I see. We may not get that at all. So this would be the new trade. If it was able to do this, my stop loss would go there, and then I would still look for the same thing I was looking for before. The first time. It's just unfortunate. It just went all the way back up to come lower. Yeah, this may be a breakaway gap. So I'd have it up here, looking for there. Let's go to a 2-minute chart just to make sure. Yeah, that's where I'd have my entry there. On a 2-minute chart, yeah. Oh, that's not what I meant. What was that? That's where my entry, the other entry would be to go lower. Just unfortunate we were right there. It goes all the way back up. And then goes lower. I don't think we'll get this entry either, to be honest. I think now it'll just kind of be allowed to leave and trade lower. I'd rather see it actually trade up in there in about 20 seconds. I'd rather see that happen first before doing this, but like that would be like the second one. See how this one goes. Again, just the closure on them. Actually, no, probably now looking at it, the better trade would be up here. Actually, just looking at it, because we were able to close that. So now that there's this gap here, right there with the 5-minute, this I think is the better trade. I'm gonna leave it where it is, but this I think is a better trade with the 5-minute close. So now that I think that we should now start trading down here softer. If that's where we're actually gonna go, that's what makes more sense to me now. Is the first gap, because you see they're starting to overlap right here. Let's make this a little bit darker. There, that 1 minute overlaps with the 5-minute fair value gap. That's probably where, or what I should have at least waited for, a little bit more clear. Potentially, I don't know. But it's just where this is. Yeah, but now I've been looking for anything higher. About 9 minutes. Look at this, we're just trading sideways the whole day. Not what I would have expected. At this point, if I was probably allowed to take a second trade at this point, just looking at this, I probably would have to wait to the PM session because this is just, it's not doing much at all. I do believe that this is the better trade just because of the signature that we're seeing here. I'm gonna delete this. But the signatures that we're seeing here, this to me just, but again, it's spending so much time in the gap. Too much. Too much time in the gap. What is ES doing? Like, see, ES didn't come all the way back up like this did. So ES is still being heavy, so yeah. So yeah, it would have been saved there, but looking at this now, the better one was up there, but I just left it where it was. But yep, now we're getting the tank we were looking for. Are they on? And ultimately looking for this sell side down there. Yeah, that shit. If it comes back up again, like, yeah, this is just, that's crazy if it comes back up again. I don't think it should. Like this 15-minute gap is like it's a Superman, I guess. Like, I'm talking about this gap right here. This gap is just holding. It's like, the way that this looks, it's like it doesn't actually really want to go lower. Every time it goes lower, it comes right back up. And it goes lower and it comes right back up. And it goes lower and like, that's a high resistant day that I can see. About 5 minutes left, and then I'm gonna hop off, and I'll be back on tomorrow. Same time, 9:10. We have PPI tomorrow, so hopefully it's a little bit more cleaner than this. Yeah, this is frustrating. Even not even being in the trade, it's very frustrating. So it's just being held. Trade into a gap again. So we should go lower. If we should be looking to go lower. Back into the gap. Nothing. I mean, I look on the 50-minute chart, it's like, okay, you're showing body wise, you don't want to go higher. But then you look on the same thing in terms of this gap, it's like it doesn't want to go lower either. So we're being held between this hourly fair value gap and then this 15-minute fair value gap. Like we're just in this mess right now. And again, from where it's at right now, I would not be happy to be in that trade. But again, I'll even try to like pretend like, oh yeah, I was looking for buys. Where do I even buy in this? Where am I supposed to buy? Here? 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 Like nowhere. Yeah, would I feel confident in this trade from even down here, or let's even say I was up there? Would I feel confident in this trade right now? Nope. 15-minute chart looking crazy. 5-minute chart looks okay, but this 15-minute chart does not look good for a short. Look at where the bodies are closing. And like this is something that happened to me yesterday. Let's say this can even go down here. I had a trade like this and it went down there and I put my stop loss right there because we're right there. And I'm like, okay, we should expand, and it came right back up and then went lower. That's happened yesterday, but even looking at this today, just yeah, I don't like it. Don't like it. Okay, we have about 30 seconds left before I'm gonna log off. But I'll be back on tomorrow, the same time. But yeah, this doesn't look like it really wants to go lower, even though everything here is overlapping, but the 15-minute chart looks awful in terms of that. But we keep getting, it keeps going down and pulling back up and going down and pulling back up. This is awful in my opinion. Just the price action can be painful, like sitting through this. All right, it's 10:30, so we'll see if it gets down here. I'm gonna put an alert there for myself, just to see if it's able to actually get down there. What happens? CPI low. We'll see if that gets taken out today. We'll see if the high gets taken out today. Or does it stay in a range? That's the other thing that can happen. Wouldn't be expecting that. Okay, CPI high, CPI low. We haven't done either or. Again, I'm favoring the downside, but from what we've seen here, but it's just being held today. So unfortunately, another day that looks like this, you know. But yeah, what it is. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow around 9:10. I appreciate you guys for being on and staying here and hanging out with me. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out.